Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of SnowFool here in City Skylines, where last episode we did some bit of expansions. We managed to add more to our brand new ore industry, which has provided a lot of jobs for the local residents of SnowFool, which has then kind of now increased our residential demand. Well, we also set up some beautiful infrastructure as well, and hopefully we can kind of build off that to bring more folios to the foolish lands of SnowFool. To continue our expansions. Now, if you are enjoying this series, guys, and want to see more, then make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when more episodes do come out. But we are back. This place is looking glorious. It's underrated, a snow map. It's so freaking underrated, but this is looking pretty damn good. Now, this is what we kind of... oh, a little bit of a lag spike there. This is what we kind of implemented and added in the last couple of episodes. Our beautiful ore industry, which is making some good profits, which is funding future expansions, boys. It's all our own acquisition, 266 tons. And when that's kind of split down through the loops. A lot of it is being sold as raw, which I don't mind that. And then we have a lot of metals and a lot of glass also being produced as well as a higher value product. Look at that. 40 tons of metal is worth more than 195 tons of just ore. But that gives me room to expand and add more of the metal and glass production in the future. But we need to fill up all the jobs that are currently available. We've got 1,300 workers out of the 1,900 that we can possibly have. And look at that residential demand, boys. It looks absolutely glorious. So, what I want to do is work with this area first. I'm actually going to squeeze a little bit of a park inside here. It's another sweet money maker like we've done over here. Makes good cash. Over here. Makes good cash. It's like a little glitch in the system to make sure that your cities always make money. Make a park a central kind of area to a community. And I might look at getting 1 or 2 additional tram lines in. And then we're going to be gearing up for our first metro. So this is quite exciting. So let's work with this area first. And we've got our entryways all set up. I don't know if we'll have another one around about here. I'm not too sure just yet. But we're going to bring up our raw road. And we're going to figure out how far we want to kind of come in before we start kind of building the park area in the middle. So let's bring this all the way down and going to there. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky one, but I'm just going to go to here. And then obviously that will be the marker for where we kind of turn. And we've got to do the same this way as well. So if that there is 50, but I know this length here is not... oh no, it is 30. Okay, we'll just go for there for now. And if I connected these roads up like they're doing anyway, just so we can kind of take into account and see where these connections are all taking place. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. And I'll probably as well run that down like that. Just for that additional connection. So it makes these guys a little bit easier to get to this area here. Now that's not to say that I want to run with these connections. Like I could literally continue this going through and create more of a gridded kind of network. So like I could delete that off there. Because it hasn't got to be uniform. That's something else we got to remember. It hasn't got to be uniform. But it can go more like this. So I get a kind of a little bit of a more of a unique kind of style design when it comes to the park that we're about to build. So I could come down by one more here. Which that's a 28. Do we lose something here? Ah, okay. That's the reason why. That's a 28 as well. So go down into there. And if I do one more sticking down to here. And then we'll build our park area here. So we've got the big kind of infrastructure, big kind of population, the residential, the growth there, as it then slowly sprawls out to where the park area is going to be. I like this. I really do like it. So we're just going to figure out then how we're going to end this little section and where these roads here are going to run into. Now it makes sense for that one to run into there. That's a 3. So if I do a 4... that will then be a 5x5 bend that we can implement. So 5x5, that runs straight into there. So that's a nice little transition. I might as well make this. Oh, will it do it? Oh, at the last minute there, it kind of switched on us. Bam. There we go. Beautiful. So it opens up that there for some kind of hustle and a bustle that we can kind of create. And then I'm going to assume this road here Oh, it's a little bit too close for comfort though, isn't it? Maybe that's not going to work out. But who says I have to have... Or, you know, that I can't have a road going through the middle of the park area. But I like the idea of having these flowing roads. Now, what that means is this here might not be the best option for a connection in. Now, what if I come off here instead? So we slightly widened it down. It means that the approach for this is a lot easier. So there we pick it up at... Oh, okay, this worked out. It's the same radius of the bend, a 5x5, as the other road, which then runs directly into there. So you have these flowing roads that come from the main area, the main drag of road, where potentially a tram's going to run. And then they got these flowing roads directly in. So park here. I don't know if it will continue to flow over this direction. Right, let's get you in. And is there room for another one? It wants to elevate it, but I don't want it to. So that's trying to keep to like a grid format. You've got these open spaces there. This will work. This will work. Now, like I said, I don't know if there's going to be something that connects here or not. I don't know. But we will have underpasses to make it a lot easier to get from one side to the other. But let's just kind of stick it at this for now. So we'll build our park first. We'll get this up and running. So this will be the second park within this vicinity. And I have the main entrance just there. We'll then designate the whole park area around. Because what's also pretty cool about these little city parks is, and some people don't realise this as well, is that they give off their own leisure. So, you know, it kind of adds a little bit to the area to kind of upgrade it to the next level. Right, now the side gates, I'm going to make sure that we get these on many of the areas. Right, might seem a little bit excessive, but I'm trying to get it in as many places as I can to where we can maximize the park path. There we go. So that should be glorious. And what I mean, I know there's a lot, but it will follow the zoning, if that makes sense. So it doesn't interact too much with the zoning around. So we'll get to there with that. Cut you across. Straight down. Bam, bam, bam. We'll do all the easy ones before we have to do all the bends. Now this one here, I'll actually... Oh, do I do it as a bend? Yes, that's actually quite nice. Because that can then run directly up to there as a centerpiece. Oh, this looks a little bit too good, guys. This looks a little bit too good if I do say so myself. Right, this then, the bend straight in. And obviously we go into where we're allowed or able to kind of stick a little bend in. Like that. And then obviously we're going to do a little cut through. There to there. And that's our little park area. This is actually quite well designed. Now, the other parks, well, I say the other parks, the one other park, you put a little bit of a lake in there, which I think is quite a good idea for all of this. So, to be able to do that, we kind of also then need to elevate certain bits. So, if I elevate just those two here, we'll try and create like a little bit of a stream going through. Well, we'll try our best anyway. It never really works out. But if I set the same terrain height as this one, that's assuming that this is the same terrain height. How low down does that go? That seems to go quite low down. Right, if I go to here. But then again, it kind of has to be quite low down, doesn't it? Right, if I do 35 as a terrain height. We can smooth it all off anyway. Alright, create a little bit of a wide bit. Because you won't notice it too much when we've got the water in. But how deep is that? That feels really deep, doesn't it? Right, what if I just kind of come in with some of the edges smoothened? Okay, this is the best we're going to get it. Right, pause the game for a minute, because I'm going to have to change... Or, how big did I do that one? I did that one quite big. So if I come down to about there... put you in and then try and then reduce you to the top of the lake and then press play, and we'll see what happens. Because the other one I had to kind of slightly adjust. This one is like, oh no, okay, that one's actually perfect. And are we getting the water going in? We are. So once we get the trees around and all the other stuff in, this park's going to be quite nice. Okay, let's start squeezing all the other stuff in anyway. And majority of this stuff is now going to be around the edges. Because the way this is now situated. Get some of the larger objects in the areas where we got the most space. Now we can get these little park piers in as well, which is pretty good. These add something a little bit different to the area. Get a couple of gazebos in, boys. And then we got the normal park, and we got the trampoline one as well, which goes in just there. So that adds a lot of stuff in, which looks absolutely glorious. I reckon there's room here, let me pause, to raise the water slightly. And then we'll plant down some trees. So up the strength a little bit. Get a bunch of trees in. And this is going to be quite a nice little park. Now, granted, it has no water, no power, none of that jazz. So we'll quickly skim over the area right now with the utilities. Which, we're getting to the point right now, guys, is to where we need to start thinking about heating. Do I implement heating? Or do we just keep going without it? I mean, it would add a little bit extra. I got to then build like a heating station and all that kind of stuff. It could add something a little bit different to the, you know, the area. All right, 22, straight down to there, and that covers all of this for water. So now let's get some more zoning in. So we'll go for a little bit of high density around this area. We'll kind of do a little bit of high density that sprawls out to low density around here. So let's go with commercial first. I reckon we go high density commercial here, here, and here. Actually, let me pause and get rid of that zone in there. We'll go high density here as well. Okay, back into play mode. We've got high density residential there, and then there. We'll bring it down to here, where we will then sprawl it out into low density residential. So low density there, fill you up with low density as well. So we're actually going quite big on the residential growth. We'll get some low density commercial around this section. So by putting some also commercial around here as well, it also then forces people to in reality walk this way. We'll place the schools in the park area as well. And we need to get some walkable paths to kind of create a little bit more connection. So we'll fill all this area up here with residential, and then we'll try and create some connections right now with the paths. Pathwise then, so what we'll do is we'll do in some obvious positions. Now I could do it here. Kill two birds with one stone. But then again, if I do stick a roundabout on there, you probably want to push it back slightly. So I reckon we just do it there instead. I'm going to cut one through just there. You find there. We'll do one just here. And then we'll take one that way. I don't like how it tries to still play zoning down, you know what I mean? And I think it's probably done the same thing here. We just can't see it. No, we're actually technically within the gaps, aren't we? Right, well, I won't do one there because that's where the road's going to go underground to connect over. And that is perfect there. So I think that would do. What I will do, though, is create something just here. So if I go there, if I just run to there, Right, let's see how I can connect all this. No, that one didn't go to plan. So we'll stop it just before. No, that doesn't affect... Okay, it still affects the zoning. I kind of didn't want it to do that. So, what's the idea behind this then? Maybe go here first? Okay, that kind of works if I bend that back in. So the reason for that is here, I can just create a standard little connection just there. We'll do one here, which is going to ruin that building. And then just there. We'll do one. We should have done it like this, really, shouldn't we? Should have had that tucked right into it. I can kind of move it. And then one last one just there. And then we'll do the little nodes so they can kind of cross on the roads. And I'll do one here as well real quick. So that took a little bit longer than I was expecting to. It shouldn't have took that long, to be honest with you. Alright, bam, bam. Alright, there's so much stuff going on right now. How do you toggle node snapping? Is that the one? No. I always forget which one it is. Toggle road bending? No. Toggle collisions, toggle slopes, toggle anarchy. I always forget which one it is. So do you know what? It's easy not to do any of them. Right, bend that in. Bend you in. Right, we got there perfectly in the end anyway. So you into there, you into there. We'll go straight up into there. There's a connection right here anyway, so we'll add that in. And I'll do one. Well, there's no reason to kind of connect here, but we'll do one anyway. There we go. So putting some trees down just adds a little bit of a pièce de résistance to the area in general. Nice. Absolutely nice. So that will take some time right now for this whole area to now build up. It will take some time. We'll quickly add in these nodes right now for crossing the road. So add that in there. Automatically adds a crossing in. Alright, there we go. Bam. 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 Just make life easier for people to walk through a park area. I mean, to be honest with you, I could have turned these into park areas as well. But the whole reason for it is just to allow us to have some space where I'm not constantly trying to squeeze money out of everybody. Cross him. Okay, and there's one more just down here as well. Cross in. All good. So we'll leave it like that then. There's no reason to do anything else. And I think that's pretty sweet. So that area, like I said, it will take some time now for it to build up. Because we've spent a lot of demand. We've got a few more residents now moving in. Which will all be wanting to have jobs somewhere. So we had 1,300 people working here. Now it's 1,400. So we've added an extra 100 people working here right now. But it's still a little bit out of the way. We need to kind of bring people over here. So public transport would be a really, really good idea. Now, this is my current network right now. We've got, how many? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 tram lines in reality. And I also have the metro stop here. Now, what we'll eventually do is have a bunch of metro stops where we crisscross with the tram lines and run the metros down this way. Now, we don't really have much going on at this moment in time to kind of warrant us running a metro line going that way. Maybe when we build these 2 areas here, we can have one running down there. But we kind of want it to run down We might have one. We probably will have one that kind of cuts down this way as well. So I don't want them to all kind of technically rely on the trams, but trams are now becoming a nice little unique kind of selling point to SnowFool at this moment, aren't they? So if I want to get the trams in, then we've currently got a loop here we can utilize, and then a loop going around there. So let's do this loop here then. That would be interesting. Now, I don't know whether to turn this into a roundabout or just leave it as it is. I reckon I leave this as it is for now, but if I start seeing bad traffic appearing, we'll then implement a roundabout on it. So I'm going to need to upgrade the road then, aren't I? So, I'm on trams here. And we need the ones with the middle as well. So, let's upgrade. Let's upgrade. There we go, boys. There we go. Now, is this going to ruin my cross? Oh, it ruins my paths. Okay, it doesn't ruin the crossings, but it does ruin the free paths that I've now implemented. So let me get those back in. Right, redo that. Right, there's one. We had a second one here. And then the third one was just here, wasn't it? Right, there we go. So back to the roads then. That's not the road. Oh no, I was in public transport doing it. So we get to here. This one here needs to be elevated. Now, is that the same style we did over there? It is, yes. So it all matches. Now, when we get to this point, I believe there's a reason to why I've done a 4-lane road going into here. Because I don't really want them to go up and around, because I feel like when we have industry here, it's better to have it cut through, split between the two. Because if they had a stop there, they're walking this way anyway. They're not really going that way. So it makes sense to cut through here. And if I do that, that is then all of the metro line, the tram line I need to get in for this additional loop. Now, there's a lot of people turning off, as you can now see, because we got this big population boom coming in. And they're turning off here as well, which is the interesting bit. Nobody want to drive down this way, guys? I mean, a few of them are. But yeah, they're mainly moving into here. So for them, it feels like the quickest way to get from point A to point B is this way. And I didn't realise as well, I got some issues with traffic lights. So that's a 50. These streets are 50 as well. That's... no wonder they're turning here. So what if I say you can do 70 on these roads? Will that change everyone's opinions? I mean, it seems quite dangerous, doesn't it? It does seem quite dangerous. But you would like them to utilize the 4-lane roads a bit more. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'm not too sure. But I'm not stressing it. There's no issues here. It's just because I've got all that zoning in that they're now obviously all arriving at once. I think it might be a good idea as well to set this to 70. Now, I know I haven't done a lot of good stuff here in terms of setting up the lane management and lines and telling them where to kind of dictate themselves and go. I haven't really done much of that just yet. I'm kind of the person who waits for the issue, then I solve the problem. Right, okay, so we've got that in then. So we're going to get 2 additional tram loops going in. One clockwise, one anti-clockwise. So this is trams, yeah. Very good. And obviously we'll get it to run. Create a new line. Very similar to how, or on the same kind of path in that kind of regards to where that one goes. Right, actually cancel that one there. Pull it here instead. Have one there. And have my final one then just here. So there's 3 there. Is that a good idea to have 3? I don't think it is. Because we have one there. We have 2 along that. So maybe 2. So maybe I do have one more in a little bit. One there, and then let's say one there. Now, we don't really have a lot going on here. So I'm just going to implement one there and then one here, just as you're about to exit this area. Where am I? There I am. We'll do one just here. And then throw in one just here on the turn. Because then the next one isn't until here. Underneath. And then completing the line like that. Yeah. So I gotta remember, I haven't gone overboard with the stops. And that's what I need to be quite careful of. Like I said, I don't go overboard with the stops. I feel like on this side I might have slightly have. But I don't think it's too bad. Oh, where's that other one? It's just there. Right, I complete that line. So 2 new lines then, which they can now utilize. And it's the first little bit of public transport as well that kind of comes over to our industrial area. Now, it's not the best, because obviously if I get one running around here, that will be a lot better. But the problem is with these tram lines, if you're over here and want to get to over here, you got to go one loop, then do another loop. That's why we want the metro to run through. So this is more of like a local kind of stop-to-stop kind of system. And the metro line is going to be like getting from one side of the city to the other with absolute ease. That's the kind of gist behind it. Oh, we need to change as well those trams right now to my... which one is it? It's the high capacity one, isn't it? Is it 140 capacity? That's what we're going to change them to. There we go. Now, they won't be utilised that much because there's a lot of dead space on these runs, but we've got them in anyway. We'll just see what happens. So let's provide some services within this area. We need some more education. So we go over upper capacity elementary school. I'll squeeze in just there. And then we'll go the same with the high school right now, which is slightly a little bit large for a building. So I'll just squeeze it there. Give us a little bit more capacity, a little bit more of a boost. What's this one here? The Modern Technology Institute. That's classed as university. Yeah, okay, we're not ready for universities just yet. We're still going to hold out on those. Still going to hold out on those just for now. Now, medical facilities, we have a hospital over there, which is still decent coverage. We have emergency services, which we will require to get in a decent size fire station at this point. So I reckon here will be a good spot for a decent fire station for the local area. Oh, that gives great coverage. Not so much over here, does it? And then we'll do policing as well. So we get the high capacity police station, which I'll put just behind it, giving us that great local coverage. And that will see us through for quite some time. So these buildings can go upgrade crazy at this point as well. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. So now we get more stuff going on. You now start to see a little bit more movement happening as well. People are still moving in the area. They're still moving in. You can start seeing more people going around and all that jazz. Still turning off, what I like to see. A lot of them turning off here as well. And do I have traffic lights? We have traffic lights there. So this is the stuff that I haven't done yet. I'm still yet to technically do. We'll just allow them to kind of free flow. And I haven't done any of the lane managements as well. It's like they're turning on to turn, well, they're turning off to turn back on, because the slip road here is 100 versus the 80 there, which is quite hilarious. So let's just sort these out. We'll do this one first anyway. Like that, like that. And we'll do the other side. Just like that. And then obviously we're going to reduce the slip roads to a 50. Just to stop them kind of thinking that it's quicker to turn off and turn back on than go through the actual single lane slip altogether. I didn't realise that was a thing. There we go. So we've got to do the same to these as well. I don't know, when you clone the junction or something like that, does all the lane management stick with it? I can't quite remember if it does. Right, so this is going that way. You're straight on, that's turning this way, and then you are straight on that way. So we've ended on the two so far, the two most used. At this moment in time, I mean, you could argue that one as well. But are they still turning off to turn back on? I mean, they've got no option right now. Oh, hello. Forgetting all that as well. See, that's the problem when you build a city for the first time. You get so overwhelmed with all the stuff that you have to do. You kind of forget about the basics. You do kind of forget about all the basics. Right, this might be an issue at some point as well. So I might as well sort this one out. Very good. And I'm just going to take care of business here as well, guys. No, actually I won't, because I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to have to upgrade this to a tram track at some point. So we'll just kind of keep it as it is. So that should work out for a little while. Now this went from 1,300 to 1,400 workers. Still to 1,400 workers. So no one else wants to work here. I think because all the commercial I've got right now, that's kind of stole a lot of the workers recently. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, starting to see a little bit of a hustle and bustle right now, especially within this area and over there, because that's where the high density is. So you gotta be careful not to do too much high density in one area, or otherwise you get big issues. So this isn't bad then. We've nearly grown the population to 20,000, so I'm quite happy about that. Trams are doing their thing as well. Oh, sewage. Yes, we are going to have to... And it's something else as well, guys. We're going to have to sort out our water treatment plant at some point, because I can't rely on it all just being here. So throw that in. Water's going to be an issue at some point as well, but, you know, we'll do it as it comes. We'll do it as it comes, boys. Okay, so that solves the sewage issues, hopefully. Those icons should now start disappearing, which they do. How's our import-export area looking? The two of them, they're looking pretty good. So it's going in the right direction. That's exactly what we want. It's going the right direction. Now, where's the tram stop over here? Just there. Not many people waiting at the moment. This park, we're going to up the ticket price. Maximize our monies. And eventually we're going to build stuff all along here as well. I'm not sure what to do along here. Maybe, I mean, what's this class? Is this class as a river or the ocean? I mean, I don't know what you would kind of class this as. So it goes open. Is it ocean or river? I don't know. But I can do like a beach boulevard for like, you know, a sea-style beach boulevard. I don't quite know what the correct term for that would be. But that would be quite interesting. It would be quite interesting. Okay. Okay, we've still got to connect these up as well to the junctions. That's another task we've got to get done. Okay, look at the amount of people walking here. They've recently just got off a tram. So it definitely is doing us wonders. There's a bunch of people walking there, so they just got off a tram as well. So yeah, definitely people getting on off. It is being utilised, and it should be utilised quite heavily. So, when it comes to this metro line here, even though this stop here is so close, if I put one there, and then put one there, you got to think, right, the metro line is going to crisscross with the tram line. So if I had one there and ran it back and forth, that is super close, I know, but it picks up people going ever so, you know, going a little hopping, you know what I mean? I know what I'm trying to say. I feel like I can't say it. Yeah. But normally, doing a stop there and then a stop here is way too close. You would never do such a thing. But I think in this instance, because it then connects to a new line, and granted, it will have another one over here, which is saying the same line here, but there's multiple kind of crisscross connections. It just enables us to not have someone like have to get there, then tram all the way around like to over here. They can get off there and walk. But if I was to do that, if I had one there, I reckon we create a circular run with the metro line, and then have other ones come off it. So I'm going to have one there, one there, one there. But then where would this next one be? To be honest with you, it could be there. Where's the crisscross of the trams? Go into there, and then can't we go up in this direction? Have another one that runs through here, and another one that runs through here. But like I said, you kind of want them going circular. Yeah, actually, we'll make them circular, but going left to right rather than like the trams going up and down. So I reckon we'll try and look towards at least implementing one of them in the next episode. I think that will be a pretty good and bold idea. So not enough educated workers. The educated workers will eventually come. We will have to build a university at some point. But I'm going to wait for a bit more money behind us before that point, because one, it's expensive, and two, the upkeep on a university is also expensive as well. It gets very, very, very expensive. So yeah. Got to pay attention to the traffic issue as well. So you can see here where there's quite a lot going on. It might be a case of connections and joins like this. We upgrade them to a 4-lane road. So that will take care of business doing it like this. So then we have 2 dedicated... Well, I wouldn't say 4-lane... Oh, do I do a 4-lane road? Or do I do asymmetrical, where it's 2 lanes to exit? But then your argument is, then why won't you have 2 lanes to enter? You know what I mean? And that one's a slightly skinnier version. Makes the path slightly a little bit wider. So let's just experiment it here. Because you got a couple of options. You've got your dedicated right turns, which won't upset anybody. So they're all now set up, and everyone knows the directions that they've got to go in. But it's your left turns and straight on that kind of crisscross on one another. So the argument is like this. Bam. Bam. What am I missing? Ah, this one. And that's how it would kind of work, but it's quite awkward, isn't it? And then you've got the other additional problem with trams. Now, this is why trams aren't always the best method or mode of transport, because they themselves cause backlogs. But that's also down to the fact that I probably have too many trams on the additional 2 lines that I've just built. So the argument here is I've got 10. Don't need 10, which is adding too many to the system. And I'm going to go with, I'm only going to need 4. Only going to need 4. Because there's not that many people wanting to be shipped around here. And that should then alleviate having so many trams wanting to get to the same stop like we are now. That's causing issues on junctions like this. Yeah, can be a pain. But once you get it all set up and sorted, it should be free flowing from there, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. Right, this park anyway. Yep, starting to make some good cash. So yeah, we'll experiment with this, because it could be quite interesting. Could be quite interesting. And if it kind of all turns out and works perfectly fine, keeps it all free flowing, we might apply the same logic to all the other connections to the 4-lane road. It's all just to try and keep it as free flowing as we can. Alright, very good. Do you know what we haven't seen today? A snowstorm. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Right. Still 1,400 workers. Not really kind of squeezing any more out of that. Which is fine. What is the unemployment like these days? Because I have added loads of jobs with commercial. I mean, then again, we are 13% unemployed. So it could be they're not skilled enough or something like that. But we do need more jobs. Roundabout working amazingly. Too good. Have we got 2 lanes here, by the way? Yeah, that road looks so thin. You kind of forget there's 2 lanes there. Oh, hold on. There's 2 lanes here. Why are you guys doing that? So, I don't really like to do this to roundabouts. But it gets them to utilize both lanes on the approach. I don't normally like to do that, like to have to kind of interject with them and tell them what they need to do. Because sometimes they don't kind of figure it out. But that now works out wonderful. And that same logic would apply everywhere else. I like these roundabouts, I really do. But like I said, I'm the kind of person who only solves problems when I see the problems, rather than solving the problem before the problem happens. Right. We're going to bring it to an end right now, guys. But we got a few issues that we're going to need to take care of. We're going to need to build a waste treatment plant, which is for sewage, and also set up somewhere for water as well. We're going to have to build a garbage plant as well, because we're going to have some garbage issues at some point too. Build a power plant there. So basically, we need to build an area dedicated for utilities. We're going to also need to take care of public transport a bit more, get a metro line in, because they can only really go in one direction, up and down. I need them to make them to be able to go left and right with a lot of ease as well. And if I can implement the metro, it will take some passengers away from the tram line, which means I can then reduce the tram line and not have as many trams on the roads, which also then reduces traffic. You see where this is going, boys? Yes. And obviously having better network coverage for our public transport means people can get to destinations a lot quicker, and some people then go and choose to work in places that they couldn't work before because it was once too far away. So, looking good. Hoping that we can kind of keep on top of this infrastructure, and we'll see how far we can take it. So if you did enjoy this, guys, please smash that like button down below. But until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.